What up? Big Herc 916. Positivity, motivation, never settle for average. Go pick you up some merch at bigherc916.com because I know you're not average if you're watching this channel. And go wash your ass, man. I keep telling you, you don't want to walk around funky. Ain't nothing worse than a smelly butt. Man, I tell you, excuses are so easy because they are comfortable, and the only people that will care and listen are the other losers around you also making excuses. Did you catch that? If you didn't, let me say it one more time. Excuses are so easy because they are comfortable, and the only people that will care and listen are the other losers around you making excuses too. Look, man, we could all be victims in some way, whether it's family situations, economic situations, racial situations. And then if you expand on that on a global level, you have practically every culture throughout history somehow, some way have been victims in a situation. So I always try to look at life like this, man. What can I do to make my situation better? It does me no good to sit around and cry, to sit around and have a pity party, to feel bad for myself, to blame history or things that have happened in my past, lack of certain things when I was growing up, or no father. I can make up a lot of things, black man in America, but it doesn't do me any good because I'm still in the same situation if I continue to entertain those thoughts. So I always try to figure out, okay, how can I pull myself out of this? How can I overcome whatever shortcomings I've had to deal with because of racial discrimination, economic bias, not being giving a business or trust growing up. I had to create my own businesses and my own wealth from the ground up. How could I get out here and make it happen? I used to sit in prison and just think about, like, damn, man, why'd I take my dumb ass to go rob that bank that day? What kind of mind frame was I in to want to do that? And then I think about, like, what was I doing prior to the bank robbery? Was I focused on any direction? Did I have anything laid out as far as a plan? And I'm like, man, I was really lost on the streets, man. I was really lost, man, like a lot of you guys out there. No direction, just living life, but not really going anywhere. And you gotta take the time and accept responsibility first and foremost, and plan out, and sometimes realize things aren't gonna happen overnight. No matter how bad we want them to happen, no matter how fast we want them to happen, they just aren't gonna happen overnight. You're gonna have to put in a lot of work. I call it hustling in the fifth dimension, and to get your blessings. And what is this? Most people only have, 3 or 4th dimensions, but to get your blessings, you're gonna have to realize that things that you may not see are at play, but they're gonna give you a blessing later on. It's just like a tree growing deep into the earth, and you don't see its roots, but maybe its roots span 6 feet, 8 feet, 10 feet into the earth, and then it sprouts, and you see this tree breaking through the ground, and you see a base, and you don't realize that that tree, you can't just pull that out of the earth, because it's pretty well established into the soil. And as it grows and it grows, that keeps it, a firm foundation, and it gets stronger, and then it grows branches, it grows leaves, it drops seeds or nuts, and those nuts, get spread out and pollinate and what have you. But you have to build your foundation, man. And if you surround yourself around a bunch of people, and all they do is talk about losing, complaining, making excuses, waiting for a handout, you're not going to be any more elevated than they are, because that's what your foundation is based around. A bunch of people who have no foundation, no plans, and are just waiting, complaining. And a lot of people don't like to hear that coming from a black man. Everybody wants to be, pumping the fist. And I remember, talking with my grandfather, and he was a man of few words. And he never sat around and heard him complain about anything, man. That dude was a cold worker, man. He busted ass. He never made no excuses, man. And he used to look at me sometimes like, get your ass up and do something, And I wasn't like laying around in the bed or anything like that or playing video games, but he used to be like, man, you got to bust ass in life. And he said, one of the reasons why he left the South, he left Georgia and went into the military, because, his grandmother told him that if you stay around here, ain't nothing good gonna happen. You're not gonna have anything positive. So he left the South and traveled, got into the Air Force, 17, and married my grandmother, and basically had her running around the country, different military bases. But he didn't tell me until his later age, when he wasn't very communicative, but about some of the things he experienced going to some of these different bases and dealing with some of these people with the housing, and how they're racist. But he never said, oh man, because of them I couldn't do this. And nah, man, he always just articulated himself and went around it and found some way to make it happen, with 4 kids at the time. And he just kept it pushing. And he eventually retired from the Air Force, worked at the airport for a bunch of years, retired from there. But he built his own wealth. He said, I never want to be one of those old people, sitting around complaining, homeless, don't have anything, and mad at the world, So he invested, bought multiple houses, took care of himself, my grandmother, made sure that they never were put in a nursing home. And, we didn't have no buddy relationship or anything like that. I didn't really get to learn a whole lot. I wanted to learn from him, but I learned enough to where I could share with you that the principles of success, the principles of accomplishment don't come from making excuses. There's no excuses. I mean, even when he used to be out all weekend and go to the bars, he still would get up when it came time to go to work. Monday, he'd be up 4:30 in the morning, be at work by 5:30. Work till 3 o'clock. And I used to be like, man, I don't want to be one of those cats doing that type of work, man. But what it was a discipline, and it was a mindset that I'm not gonna make excuses, and I'm not gonna be one of these people who can complain about things that I know I can change. And so, I'm sharing this with you guys because a lot of you, it's easy to want a shortcut and get mad and this and that. And I went through all that. Like I said, I spent over a decade of my life in prison and looked around, seen a lot of people who, most of them, you know, had high levels of success in the Fed. Some of them were multi-millionaires, drug dealers, white-collar criminals, bank robbers who made a lot of money, you know, but they were sitting there doing time now. And I couldn't sit around and not prepare myself for my next phase in life, which was to get out and start fresh from ground zero, but have the responsibility of doing what I needed to do to make it happen. So don't allow yourself to be one of these people, man, who are caught up in these false movements, fake ass movements, these crybaby situations and feeling sorry for yourself, man. Look, if you're healthy and you're able to get up and move around, take advantage of it. Until you hit the dirt, until you're confined to a bed where you can't get out, man, you have all the opportunity in the world. And don't let an excuse be a reason for you not to get what you want out of life. Big Herc 916, man.
Hello, my name is Big Herc 916, and I'm with the Wash Your Ass Committee, and I'm traveling across America helping people wash their ass and get their booty holes clean. And I have with me here today Wash Your Ass Soap, and this one in particular is Butt Naked Scrub, but I also have Festival, Oatmeal Milk and Honey, Jamaican Me Crazy, Monkey Farts, and all these scents smell very good. They will help cleanse your body of funk and also make you feel better about yourself. So if you can go to BigHerc916.com, you can pick you up a bar, and my goal is to help America combat funk.
Stop walking around with a crusty butt, smelly ball sack, and a funky hoo-ha. Big Herc said, wash that ass. Pick you up a t-shirt at FreshOutSeries.com.
Hello, I'm Big Herc 916. Contact me for life coaching and motivational speaking.